Our sponsors: the Finkley Experience, HBCU First, the Jamal Bakes Morning Show, J&J Leadership Academy. Thank you for your contributions towards the Michael Finkley Show. HBCU First. HBCU First Incorporated is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. HBCU First is a student-led community advancing the well-being and economic participation of America's Black youth. As the leading HBCU internship and mentoring academy, we empower elite students from 70-plus historically Black colleges and universities with in-demand college-to-career skills. For more information, visit their website, www.hbcufirst.com.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny Lewis of Kenny Lewis and One Voice, and you're watching my boy Michael Finkley on the Michael Finkley Show.
Call on Jesus.
There's a new familiar face this time. Say hello to the new daytime. See it everywhere you go. New and the greatest show. It's no other than the Michael Finkley Show. There is no other. He's like no other. I'm so glad that someone resonates with me. From
Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Now, y'all, my next guest, I know you know who he is. As you're looking at him right now, he is a husband. He's a father. He's an artist. Yeah. He is an actor. You have seen him weekly, I promise you. Tyler Perry's The Oval as Sam Owen. He's none other than Walter Fauntleroy. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you for having me, Michael.
I love your last name.
Yeah. You heard the story, Little Lord Fauntleroy?
I have. I'm not familiar with that
book, and it's a movie. I think Ricky Schroeder did it as a little boy. But the book is Francis something. I can't think of it right now. But that's where a lot of people have heard Fauntleroy before.
Oh, interesting. I just love it. It just flows.
Thank you, man.
It just flows. It does. Well, thank you so much again for just being with us these few moments and getting to chat with you and getting to know who you are, because we see you on our screens, we see you on stage, and it's just still this like, who is this person? Like, he's always working, he's always on his grind. So how would you describe Walter in 3 words?
Resilient, loving, and loyal.
Why?
Well, it's just the way I was brought up. Love leads all things for me. It's faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of those is what? Love. And so for me, at the end of the day, that encompasses everything. Now, I only have to talk about the other ones because love encompasses it all. I love what I'm doing. I love who I am. I love others around me. And I love to collaborate and work with people that are harmonious. Sometimes I love to work with people that are cantankerous, because I can be all things too. But I just love to see people striving and climbing and growing. I love to inspire people and to motivate people, and also be inspired and motivated myself. It's what makes me the artist, and it's what makes me feel alive.
I'm telling you, and it shows in the work that you do. But you didn't start off this way.
No.
You didn't start off this way. You were a network administrator as your lifestyle then. What switched? What kind of switch that, oh my gosh, I want to go here, but now I'm here, but I want to go here?
It's my children. I'm a family man first. I had 2 dreams in my life when I was a very little boy. I wanted to act since I was about 4 or 5. Never went on auditions and none of that growing up, so I didn't do a lot of that. But around 8 or 9, my other dream was to be a father and to have a wife and kids. And so when I was the network administrator, I worked graveyard shift. I had a wonderful career, 8 days on, 6 days off, but I worked about 28 to 32 hours a week. It was easy. I was at the computers, like Starship Enterprise or something. But as my kids were growing, especially when they were little. I used to play with them all the time. I'm like, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? What do you want to be? Where you going to college? The questions that you just playfully, knocking them down and picking them up. And one day it just hit me after a number of years. I work with a lot of guys that started out in the field, but they were in the cush career jobs at management like I was when I'm just starting out. They're ending their careers. And so I saw a lot of them retiring well. But when I looked down that path for myself, I just thought it's a great ending, but not the ending I want, And when I be playing with my kids, I started to feel like a hypocrite. Like I didn't want to be lying to my kids. You can do whatever. You have parents who say, well, you can be whatever you want to be. And I didn't want to be one of those people that just talked it without walking it. And so for me, it wasn't a me thing, it was a we thing. It was like, okay, this ship could go down in network administration. Then where am I going to be left? Shipwreck? I can launch out into the deep and try something else. So it was one of those things where I was just like a lot of introspection because I worked at night. I was by myself. So I was like, God, well, if it be you, bid me to come in a sense. Not for me, but for the family. And so I was like, if I can at least show my kids the way, then they won't be wannabes. Y'all are gonna bees. I didn't want you to be wannabes because where I came from, wannabes weren't cool. I was like, y'all are gonna bees. Energy flows where attention goes. And wherever you set your mind, that's where it's gonna follow. The body will follow. And so I wanted to make sure they had at least the example of that. That's what got me, to start my journey.
And wow, the journey continues. But what got me was, you have a aunt that sung opera in Europe. You have
Yeah,
a grandmother who sung as well.
yeah.
And it took you so long to get into the entertainment world because of fear. Why were you so scared when the platform was already there for you?
Well, you got to remember, I grew up, I was born in Philadelphia, but I didn't grow up in Philadelphia. I was always in Philadelphia. But we lived in McGuire Air Force Base, Fort Dix. So my dad is most of all his family is from Philadelphia. My mother is from Dallas, Texas. So my father met my mother when he was in Dallas in the military. So it's just always the two worlds. But growing up, how we grew up very disciplined and very strict. You see what I'm saying? And so in those environments that I even grew up in, Philly is tough. Jersey was very tough. So I was getting in fights and having trouble. Why? Because that's where we live and that's the way we do it here. You see what I'm saying? And so coming from a little kid that when my eyes first started opening, they opened up in Japan. And like there's nothing but Asian people all around me. You see what I'm saying? Little black boy in a foreign world. And so it taught me just to see life differently than just through the lens that I've been given. And so it helped me to empathize and understand a lot of the teachings from the East. It still influences me today. So all those things encompass, made me, in a sense, who I was. And that was a lot of fear-based because once I left Japan and the Orient where everything was disciplined in that particular way in the East, then I moved back to the East Coast in America where everything is gully and violent. And this is how we do things on our block. And you getting punched in the chest, you 7, 8, 9, by kids that are 16, 17, 18 to try to teach you. It's great because it taught me a lot about the world and how to, read things and stuff like that. But at the same time, it created a world of darkness for me that I had to grow out of. Why? Because I'm this little pure-hearted kid now in an environment that I'm not used to. And so that creates fear. And you got parents saying if someone picks on you, you fight back. Win, lose, or draw. We gonna respect each other. And so it was always that until you got a rep. Then you go to another school, you got to get another rep. So it's someone wants to challenge you because you got a rep. So it's all these things. So it was just a lot of fear because I had to be something that I really wasn't.
Wow. Wow. It is, and it's amazing because so many people talk about that aspect of fear. But when you walk into it, you sometimes you have to do it because you're scared. And you can't allow that to stop you in so many ways.
Mhm.
And so we see the product of that today. And what we see, what was your first biggest break when you went into the world of entertainment and said, I'm here, let's do it. I'm not letting fear stop me anymore. What was your first biggest break? What did that look like for you?
I think it was just that step to just leave my career, because that wasn't easy. I had a great agency. I was in Dallas with the Mary Collins agency. And they saw me in a production of Shakespeare Midnight Echoes. My mentor, Akeem Babatunde, took me under his wing and started teaching me the craft of acting. And when I did that show, it was written in the paper. It was a horrible review. The show was great. Walter Fauntleroy was terrible. And so it's a trip. I was on my job and someone taped it, cut it out and taped it to one of the windows so everybody could read. And early on, it just taught me that, okay, there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of people that want to maybe see you fail. And on some level, it just drove me to say, I want to do this. I don't think there's any particular role that I'm not ever afraid of. It's like, because it's like starting all over every single time out, and so you have to, I just got to the point where I just started to try to just enjoy it, living comfortably, uncomfortably. That's what it is being an actor, but it always keeps me open to listen and to be open to whatever's happening right now, as opposed to what's going to happen in the future or what happened 5 minutes ago. So I can't really say that there's one particular thing that got me through. I will say this. I had a lot of people tell me a lot of good things over my life and in career as an actor. But it wasn't until Tyler, maybe that was just the last kind of thing, brick, but it's like the apex on the pyramid or something. But it was like when Tyler really started showing some interest, it made me want to believe more. It made me not want to fail him. So it was more for him than it was for me, but it taught me something about my destiny.
Amazing. Oh wow. That's amazing. I love the sometimes we as persons when we're watching, we see the glitz and glamour of it all first. Well, we don't
Mhm.
see the nose. We don't see the tears. We don't see the I'm gonna give up today. No, I can't afford to can give up today. All the going back and forth. And
Mhm.
so we see you today in Tyler Perry's, of course, the Oval on BET as Sam Owen. We're in season 6 now as
Yeah.
well. How did we get to this point? And how did you say you're a man of faith? How did your faith contribute to where you are today?
It all started off by faith for me, man. Like I was the network administrator making great money, and I decided this is not what I want to do anymore. My wife was very supportive in that as well. So it wasn't just me, it was a team effort, right? And so as I started to embark on my journey, it was like, let's move to California. It was New York or California, but I had already done some plays in New York. I had already been overseas a couple of times in Paris and Geneva, Switzerland to perform. And so I was like, I want to be on TV. I want to see what that's like. I want to test that. And so my wife had family in California, so we decided to come to California. Mind you, Michael, I had less than $1,000 when I moved to California with my entire family. You see, so it wasn't an easy road, but when we got here, everything worked out. I got here, I didn't have any money. I went back to do a play for about 6 months called Blue. And then I came back. I didn't have any money. And then out of the blue, we got a place. People were helping us get a place, even though we didn't have falsifying information on the documents. Good white people, you know what I'm saying? In Burbank, California. And they were lying for us. And I was grateful, because that's not what I normally do. I don't like to falsify and lie in those ways. But these are people in places that were doing this for us to get us into an apartment, and it just kept going, man. And it was just like, this is a sign. And out of the blue, I got a check for about $12,000 right when we needed it, to get us at least on our feet and going out here. And that was a residual check from the missed DVD sales, when we were out here. And that's what kind of got me on my feet and going. But I sold my house in Texas. I wanted to come out here and just leave everything behind. If I had kept my house when the discouragement kicked in, I would have gone back. But Shaka Zulu, I don't remember anything else from the movie when I was a kid. I remember when they hit the shores, they burned the boats. And I wanted to make sure I burnt the boats before I got to California, because I didn't need anything that would allow me to go back. And so that's what I did. Even though I didn't have any money coming this way, and anything that sustained me, I just knew I had to get there without anything so I could go back. And so that's what kept me going, I think, and my family. God, of course.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen, brother. Amen. 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 I'm telling you,
Mhm.
because we're in revival this week at my church, and it's just so many things are opening up even more so. You know, you've been in church all your life and you go through the motions of it all, but once you really, really hone in, right, in this season in your life, it's just like so many things are just so wide open. It's like, oh wow, wow, they become brand new in so many.
Yeah.
So I definitely get it in this season. I definitely get it. I must say, again, Sam Owen has been on our televisions for a while now. What have you learned from this character that you now have transferred over into Walter?
It's taught me more empathy. Being on the show, being in the series, it's taught me how to. I feel like I'm a very empathetic person anyway, but it has really taught me to see things from other people's perspective even more. You know what I'm saying? I had a particular idea coming in terms of especially when Sam started, having the affairs in that way. I had a particular viewpoint in terms of how I felt about that. It's not something or practice that I live by. It's not something that I would condemn anybody for either in the world. I'm saying it's not the best thing for you, but I think it showed me it helped me to understand the reasons behind why people do things, and it's not always a physical desire. It could be from a lack of intimacy, and intimacy isn't just sex. I think when we look at the situation with Sam and Priscilla, they lack intimacy. So Sam isn't asking just for sex. He's lacking intimacy. There's no communication there. I feel like Sam is trying to be as communicative as he can, and Priscilla isn't. But it also helps me to see things from her point of view too. Whereas normally I might not have looked at the situation like that. Bobby Baby. I look at all the characters from their perspective to understand, oh, they're not bad people. They're misguided. Now, people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, but they're not bad people in the sense. They've allowed these habitual behaviors to begin to control them more than they are controlling the habitual behaviors. And I always say that the chains of habit are always too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. And that's what these people are going through, and it's leaving them broken.
Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. Wow. But when we come back, Think Fam, we get to play one of our newest segments called What If? And Walter later gets to tell us his next biggest dream. So don't go away.
Everybody, this is your boy Rufus Johnson. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. I am a singer, songwriter, artist, producer, all of that good stuff, philanthropist, and you are watching the Michael Finkley Show.
You're so good, and you never change.
Hello everybody, it's Finkley from the Finkley Experience. We're an educational consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education. So we assist students with their college and career endeavors. We train school administrators on the state of first-generation students. And also, we partner with colleges and universities to assist their first-generation population for easy transition from high school to college. So if you're looking for a presenter or a speaker that presents on these topics and so much more, visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com and learn about all that we do. We're looking forward to working with you.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny Lewis of Kenny Lewis and One Voice, and you're watching my boy Michael Finkley on the Michael Finkley Show.
Call on Jesus.
Hi guys, welcome to Awaken. We wanted to serve the city of Mullins. We are church owned, and we felt like a coffee shop was such a huge need in the city of Mullins. There's nowhere for people to just come, get a cup of coffee, sit with friends, maybe do some work on the laptop. And so we feel like it was a service that we could give back to the city. Well, our hope is that people will feel calm, that they'll feel welcome, that it'll be a place where they can come and just clear their mind.
We come here twice a day. That's how good their smoothies, their coffee, their lattes, frappes, delicious. Oh, I love the atmosphere here. If I had time to come and just sit and relax, I would. It's awesome.
One thing that I really love about it being here is just the cozy environment. It's so inviting. I can come in here and I can get my schoolwork done, a good coffee and a good meal. But I'm just really thankful that they're here and that I have a good place to go.
We're open Tuesday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Awaken Coffee Bar, downtown Mullins.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Still chatting with Walter here. My newest friend, Walter, he's here with us, and we get to play one of our newest segments called What If? Okay. So within this, I love this segment because it allows us to reflect even more so. Because sometimes when we go through life, we forget to do it because life does life at times. So I must say, Walter, if you were not in this amazing career as a great entertainer, what would you be doing instead of?
I'd probably be a preacher or motivational speaker.
I see it.
Yeah. In some way, at some point, I love to inspire and motivate people. I love to see people win. I love to be part of a winning team, even if it's a losing team that's rebuilding. We can start from scratch. I just love to create and build. If it's myself, other people, I just love to see people soar, man.
Where do you think that comes from?
I think probably if I look at my life, I think it comes from just my life experience, right? Understanding that there's all kind of people that in my life that don't always meet you with love. I think they meet you more with fear and insecurity because maybe whatever they've been through, there's experiences that make them feel a particular way or intimidated from people that may be strong. Like I wasn't built this way, but I became this way. Like if the lion is in the jungle and he shows up on the scene, well, the elk may be fearful. Something that's less, might get fearful just because this lion is on the scene. The lion might not even be hungry. But I do find that people, especially artists, maybe because of how sensitive we are to things and being creative, can be overly sensitive. I've been that myself at times, So we have to look at things and check our egos at the door, whatever baggage we bring, good, bad, or whatever. Let's leave all that at the door and just collaborate. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the magic and the mystery of what the truth is under these imaginary circumstances at the end of the day, So being that I come from a lot of, hard times, now that I'm in the light of things, I appreciate it. Why? Because it's like what I say a lot, like the diamond was formed in the coal, the pearl in the oyster, oil in the earth, gold in the mines. And it's important for me to search, when I'm looking in that darkness of my experience, to search for the bright things, the gifts, the treasure. That's how I want to serve from that point of view as opposed to just the darkness. The darkness doesn't matter in that sense. So I hope that answers the question.
Perfectly. It answered it perfectly, I must say, sir. Now we see more so now a three-dimensional Walter. More than ever. Big fam, don't go away because he tells us his next biggest dream. Back at home.
Hi everybody, I'm Teron Brooks. Perhaps you know me as Eddie Kendricks in the miniseries The Temptations. Perhaps you've seen me on Broadway. Perhaps you've listened to some of my records. I'm happy that I'm here at the Michael Finkley Show. You're watching it right now.
Hi guys, welcome to Awaken. We wanted to serve the city of Mullins. We are church owned, and we felt like a coffee shop was such a huge need in the city of Mullins. There's nowhere for people to just come, get a cup of coffee, sit with friends, maybe do some work on the laptop. And so we feel like it was a service that we could give back to the city. Well, our hope is that people will feel calm, that they'll feel welcome, that There'll be a place where they can come and just clear their
We
mind.
come here twice a day. That's how good their smoothies, their coffee, their lattes, frappes, delicious. I would love the atmosphere here. If I had time to come and just sit and relax, I would. It's awesome.
One thing that I really love about it being here is just the cozy environment. It's so inviting. I can come in here and I can get my schoolwork done, a good coffee and a good meal. But I'm just really thankful that they're here and that I have a good place to go.
We're open Tuesday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Awaken Coffee Bar, downtown Mullins.
Everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. So the season question therein, here it is, Walter. What is your next biggest dream?
My next biggest dream is to continue to go higher. I always want to be the person that's working and serving. Like, I get a lot of gratitude from service to others. As the artist, what greater joy is there to serve in the field that I'm in? You know, what's the next? I don't know. But I trust God in the process. I trust life. I trust that it's something that I'm going to be proud of, something that I can serve in a way with excellence to hopefully inspire somebody to dream, whether you're an actor, an artist, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, whatever you decide to be in life, whether it be a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, whatever, be the best you can be at whatever endeavor you're embarking on.
I always say if God is in it, then we can't go wrong.
That's it.
We can't go wrong at all because he promised us that our latter will be greater. So I'm always having an expectation of greatness, that greater every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we got to be participants too, you know. Like, God is in everything, everything. We could just be sideline critics, or we can get in the game, launch out into the deep, you know, because a captain, a ship without a captain won't get out of the harbor. You know, you have to have a direction. You have to have a point of view, right? Energy flows where attention goes. I say it all the time. So it's important to have a destination. God, because like I said, God is in everything. God is in doing nothing. You can do nothing well and never get anywhere. You see what I'm saying? So it's important to just set a destination and at least embark on it. You're going to learn something along the way anyway.
Wow. I hear the preacher coming out.
I'm sure.
I hear the preacher coming out. Oh, my word. And all that you've done in this short amount of time that you've been on this earth. Are you proud of yourself?
I'm extremely proud of myself. I'm not so proud of all the choices that I've made in terms of some of the things that may have gotten me in trouble or may have disrespected other people. But I am proud of who I am, and I'm proud of who I'm becoming, because I am a human being, but I'm also becoming. And so I have my sights set on what I want to become too. And that's nothing. That's not just nothing. That's everything. So I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the air I breathe. I'm grateful that I can speak to you without any kind of device. I'm grateful that I can see and feel and touch and empathize and love, and grateful for the things that are seen and not seen. I'm grateful for it all, man.
Oh, my word. Get ready, because you ain't seen nothing yet. 2025 is still among us, right? What is left for Walter in 2025? What is Walter working on? What does he want to work on? What's happening?
Well, I'm always writing. I'm producing things and trying to get things on their feet. I want to go back onto the stage. I want to get back in the theater and do at least one stage production a year, because I miss it. It's been a while. Hopefully during a slow season. But you know, I want to be involved more in movies and comedies and things like that. I had been, when I grew up, I was fascinated by how movies were made and how, you know, acting was portrayed in the movies growing up. It made me dream, you know, just the dream that that got me on this journey. And so I know Hollywood is changing a lot, and the things that you know, in terms of the stories that they're telling. But hopefully I can be a part of telling those magical stories that make people dream and believe higher. Like I said, for anything, the whiz and all that stuff did stuff for me. Just believe in yourself in the process. That's most important. I think that's the key. You have to believe in yourself. It's done unto you according to your belief. So it's very important to have a strong belief in who you are and be proud of that. And don't discourage that. Even when you're growing, you don't knock something when it's growing. If a bud is growing on a vine, you don't just decide it's not good enough and cut it off. You have to allow it to bloom. You have to allow those flowers to blossom. You don't uproot them just because they're not blossoming in your time. Everything has a season. And so you have to be patient in the process.
I love the way you said that, because I always say that the process is for us, right? It strengthens us, it stretches us, in so many different ways. We cry, we get mad, we say, I'm gonna do it again, we start over. That process is for us because we're learning about self, but the results are for everyone else.
That's it.
That's the way we look at the process. Oh, this is amazing. I love this. So how can we follow you on social media? Because the story always continues, I know. How can we follow you on social media?
I'm at Little Lord Faunt, LIL Lord Faunt. So and before, I don't want anyone to get, angst about that. Sometimes people hear it and I think they get a little uncomfortable. But like I said, it came from the book Little Lord Fauntleroy. Is one of the first things that I saw when I was growing up. And if you ever read the book or see the movie, you understand that it's a story about a grandfather and a grandson. And it really is a story about love and forgiveness. And so that's why it really set well with me. And I just thought, well, that sounds like me, even though I'm not the little boy in the story, but I live my life based on that love and forgiveness.
There we go, Think Fam. Follow.
Little Lord Faunt.
Little Lord Faunt. Please go support.
Right.
I must say thank you, Walter. You have really lifted my day. Thank you so much for being with us and just being who you are as an individual, because there's just so much more for you. And I know you know that. There's so much more for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. And thank you to all your fans that tune in to the Michael Finkley Show. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And Think Fam, always, thank you so much for watching. And always remember to pursue your dreams. Have a